from anywhere.
While Aja Wilson's signature sneakers quietly sit on outlet shelves, a totally different story is unfolding inside Nike's inner circle. Caitlin Clark isn't just another athlete on the roster, she has become the brand's true center of gravity. At Nike's Beaverton headquarters, the focus has shifted drastically, with serious money, time, and attention now locked onto her upcoming 2026 signature shoe. Insiders report that the technology being integrated into this footwear is being treated like a top-secret project, with Clark herself confident that the final product will reset the industry bar. At the same time, Wilson's presence within the brand's primary marketing strategy has faded fast. Her promotional push didn't just stall, it effectively disappeared. There are no updates, no spotlight, and absolutely no noise surrounding her line. That stark contrast has sparked non-stop conversation about how Clark jumped ahead so quickly and why Nike's earlier bets may not have matched where the cultural momentum was actually heading. The anticipation surrounding Clark's shoe is already incredibly loud, and the pressure continues to build as public expectations climb. Inside Nike headquarters, the atmosphere alone tells the whole story of this new direction. The Nike campus no longer feels neutral. Instead, it feels entirely customized. Caitlin Clark's image is positioned front and center across buildings, hallways, and creative spaces. The From Anywhere visuals dominate massive walls, effectively turning the workplace into a live showcase of her personal brand. Nike has granted Clark a level of access that no WNBA player has ever seen before, ensuring she is deeply involved in how every product looks, feels, and functions when she is on site. Whenever Clark arrives at the headquarters, schedules shift, meetings are reshuffled, and designers line up eagerly to walk her through new concepts. Even the culinary options change during her longer visits, with menus pulling inspiration directly from her Iowa roots. Her double CC logo is now ubiquitous. Break rooms loop her career highlights on a constant cycle, and executive boardrooms prominently display her performance charts. Even the spaces usually kept plain, such as the parking areas, now carry massive Clark visuals. Nike isn't just promoting her as an athlete, they are fundamentally building the future of the company around her. That shift in priority is absolutely impossible to ignore. Nike did not play small when it came to promoting Caitlin Clark. To cement her place in pop culture, they assembled a heavyweight cast of collaborators. Travis Kelce appears in her advertisements, while Jason Kelce films content alongside her during Indiana Fever games. Travis Scott has stepped in to design custom Clark merchandise, and even Michael Che has become involved, writing comedy sketches centered around her legendary deep shooting range. Every one of these moves requires a massive financial investment, making it clear that Nike isn't just testing the waters, they are going all in. At the same time, Aja Wilson's presence inside Nike has almost entirely vanished. Posters that once featured her were removed without warning, and display cases have swapped her campaigns for Clark visuals. Rooms that once spotlighted Wilson's championship accomplishments now display Clark's statistical milestones instead. Employees note that the change wasn't gradual, it was immediate. Staff inside the building confirmed they were instructed to remove Wilson-related materials and replace them with Clark content across the entire campus. Clark's inner circle is now a constant fixture at the Beaverton headquarters. Her representatives sit in on daily design sessions, her trainer utilizes Nike's elite performance labs, and her shooting coach works directly with engineers to break down her mechanics frame by frame. A permanent setup has even been carved out for Clark on the executive floor. While other athletes are restricted to limited, pre-booked visits, Clark moves freely through the building. The design labs are currently packed with samples of her signature shoe, and her personal color preferences are influencing the aesthetic of the entire women's basketball lineup. Even the smallest details reflect this shift. The cafeteria stocks her preferred pre-game snacks, and meeting rooms have been quietly renamed to reflect her college milestones. Executives provide her with private access to areas most athletes never see. She is often the first to preview new technology, reinforcing her top-tier status in Nike's pecking order. Within the company, Clark enjoys first-look privileges that no one else touches. Design teams bring ideas straight to her before they are even whispered elsewhere. The company president personally escorts her through campus upgrades, pointing out changes built specifically with her in mind. Spaces once tied to Aja Wilson have been fully repurposed. Her former design consultation room is now Clark's private creative studio. What used to be a photo gallery celebrating Wilson's milestones has been flipped into a timeline tracking Clark's meteoric rise. Even the parking lot tells the story. Wilson's reserved spot was quietly reassigned to Clark's team. Nothing about this shift feels accidental. The headquarters itself now reflects a definitive corporate decision. Clark's presence fills the campus, while Wilson's footprint has been systematically erased. The building no longer just houses Nike's operations. It serves as a physical manifesto of where their priorities now lie. This physical takeover mirrors a much larger shift happening behind the scenes with their signature shoe strategy. Step into any major sporting goods store, and the contrast becomes even louder. Aja Wilson's signature sneakers are easy to find, but unfortunately, not for the right reasons. Here is the final, polished section of your text. I have corrected all grammatical errors, improved the flow for a more professional tone, and removed all timestamps and music cues while ensuring the narrative remains impactful. Retail realities and the on-court shift. Aja Wilson's signature sneakers are now easy to find, but unfortunately not for the right reasons. They have been marked down, pushed aside, and relegated to clearance sections. At Foot Locker, they sit prominently on discount shelves, while Dick's Sporting Goods has moved them to the back of the store, mixed in with bargain items that shoppers barely glance at. Although these shoes launched with significant hype not long ago, consumer demand simply never followed. With price tags slashed by half or more, stores are still struggling with piles of unsold inventory. Retail workers report that customers walk right past the displays without slowing down. The line Nike expected to lead the women's basketball market is now collecting dust next to discontinued models tied to names fans barely remember. Store managers have quietly labeled Wilson's shoes as some of the weakest basketball performers they have seen in recent years. This shift did not happen quietly. Nike reportedly cut off all advertising support tied to Wilson weeks ago. Her commercials were pulled from television rotations, and paid social media promotions stopped almost overnight. Every remaining marketing dollar was redirected elsewhere, leaving Wilson's signature shoes to sit in stores without any backing from the swoosh. With no push, no spotlight, and no reinforcement, the brand's focus has clearly moved on. Internal updates now focus on moving Wilson's remaining inventory as quickly as possible. Weekly instructions encourage deeper discounts, while regional managers push to free up floor space for upcoming launches. Retailers are unwilling to let slow sellers clog premium displays. Consequently, in many locations, Wilson's entire line has been shifted to outlet sections, with no plans for a return to the main floor. Industry insiders point to sales numbers that missed projections by a wide margin. Sources claim that the revenue generated from Wilson's signature line over 6 months did not match what a standard Nike basketball model typically pulls in within a matter of weeks. Despite pouring millions into building her brand, Nike saw the momentum stall the moment the shoes hit real-world shelves. This outcome has raised serious internal questions about whether future releases in this line make financial sense. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark's influence continues to spread even before her signature shoe officially drops. Player-exclusive Clark colorways are already appearing across NBA courts. Stars like Stephen Curry and others have worn Clark-inspired designs during games, putting her branding in front of massive audiences without a traditional launch. Players have reportedly requested special colorways tied to Clark's style, a phenomenon rarely seen before an athlete's shoe even hits retail. While Clark's reach extends into the highest levels of professional basketball, Wilson's shoes remain nearly invisible on the court. Outside of her partner, Bam Adebayo, Wilson's footwear is rarely spotted during games or practices. Even players who received Aja Wilson's shoes through official Nike partnerships often choose other models when it is time to compete. That widening gap between Clark's growing presence on the court and Wilson's absence speaks volumes about where consumer attention, market demand, and cultural momentum currently sit. This opening for a new star didn't appear out of nowhere. What occurred with Aja Wilson's campaign created a clear lane for Nike to pivot. After pouring immense resources into a rollout that never truly connected with the public, the company shifted its focus toward what they view as Clark's unprecedented upside. Internally, executives took hard lessons from that experience. They realized that elite performance alone is no longer enough. In today's hyper-connected market, personality, visibility, and an authentic fan connection matter just as much as box score statistics. The result of this shift is palpable. Even without an official launch, Clark's signature shoes are already generating more engagement than Wilson's line ever managed at full release. Online chatter regarding Clark's upcoming drop is constant, with discussions far outpacing anything Wilson's shoes sparked at their peak. The basketball community isn't just aware, it is actively watching and waiting. While Wilson's products were were met with a lukewarm response, Clark's name continues to drive genuine excitement. This contrast has forced Nike to rethink how they measure long-term value. Industry voices point out that brand perception plays a major role in consumer trust. When that connection weakens, the product struggles regardless of how dominant the athlete is on the court. Clark's momentum accelerated even further after her high-profile appearance on the New Heights podcast with Jason and Travis Kelce. During their conversation, she shared unexpected details about her 2026 signature shoe, revealing just how deeply Nike has invested in this project. According to Clark, the upcoming release is built around innovative concepts that Nike has never pushed this far before. She has spent roughly 18 months working inside Nike's advanced research labs, where engineers created dozens of prototypes and integrated custom pressure sensors into test pairs to track her specific movement patterns. Clark reviewed every detail herself, from the cushioning response to the overall balance. Her specific shooting mechanics directly influenced the weight distribution throughout the shoe. Every adjustment was meticulously tested, revised, and ultimately approved by her, ensuring that the final product is a direct reflection of her game. Caitlin Clark's on-court movement has directly shaped her signature shoe from the ground up. Her specific cutting habits influence the traction layout, featuring patterns designed to grip during sharp stops and explosive changes in direction. The cushioning system she helped refine utilizes materials Nike has never before applied to basketball footwear. Engineers developed a responsive foam that adjusts to different court surfaces, while the midsole delivers an energy return tuned specifically to Clark's style of play. Impact protection was another primary focus. The shoe is engineered to absorb the stress of deep shooting attempts and rapid lateral motion. Nike has poured more capital into Clark's signature line than any other women's basketball shoe in the brand's history. Internally, her development budget alone surpassed the investment in A'ja Wilson's entire campaign by a wide margin. In fact, the research phase cost more than many athletes earn across their full signature deals. For Nike, this project represents their boldest commitment to women's basketball to date. Every performance feature reflects the modern play style Clark emphasized. This includes added arch support for extended shooting range and better balance during long-distance attempts. The collar was shaped to allow for natural ankle movement during step-back shots, providing flexibility without sacrificing stability. Even the lacing system was reworked to match Clark's foot shape and her specific pre-game routine. Nothing was left generic. Sneaker insiders expect demand to explode the moment the shoe officially drops. Early registration numbers have already surpassed any previous Nike records for women's basketball footwear. Retailers are preparing for late-night release events, and resale platforms are bracing for immediate price jumps. Inside Nike, executives view Clark's deal as their most vital investment in the sport. Her involvement stood out at every level she attended, more design meetings than many NBA stars, and pushed for material upgrades that Nike initially flagged as too costly. Leadership took notice, seeing her hands-on approach as a signal that this project had to be done right. Clark's deep engagement surprised even veteran Nike engineers. Her ability to translate on-court needs into actionable design feedback made the project easier to scale and helped justify the massive investment. However, this shift created tension as A'ja Wilson's campaign was scaled back. Those familiar with the situation described frustration on Wilson's side as budgets and attention moved elsewhere. While her representatives pushed for clarity, Nike leadership focused on performance metrics and market response. Over time, Nike reportedly grew fatigued by the logistical and creative strains surrounding Wilson's rollout. In contrast, Clark's approach was described as efficient and solution-focused. She arrived, prepared, participated fully, and offered specific feedback. This difference mattered. Nike employees began gravitating toward Clark's campaign because the work environment felt smoother and more productive. Ultimately, Nike's decision came down to alignment. Clark's appeal extends beyond performance into branding, collaboration, and long-term growth. Her presence has reshaped Nike's campus and strategy, signaling a broader shift in women's basketball marketing. The upcoming 2026 release reflects that pivot, showing how much value Nike now places on adaptability, audience connection, and a shared vision rather than on-court results alone. When the dust finally settles, this story isn't just about sneakers. It is about how quickly power shifts when brands stop betting solely on resumes and start betting on authentic connection. Nike didn't just choose a player. They chose a direction. One path leaned on past success and traditional expectations, while the other leaned into momentum, adaptability, and cultural pull. Caitlin Clark didn't force this takeover, the market did. Fans spoke with their attention, their clicks, and their wallets. Nike followed the numbers, and the numbers led straight to her. The transformation of the corporate headquarters, the massive budget shifts, and the aggressive technology push all reflect a company reacting to reality rather than emotion. This saga exposed a truth the sports world doesn't always like to admit. Talent opens doors, but personality keeps them open. Collaboration beats entitlement, and brands will always chase what feels most authentic to fans, even if it means walking away from names they once believed in. The 2026 launch isn't just another shoe drop. It is a signal that women's basketball marketing has entered a new era, one where influence extends beyond the court and into boardrooms, design labs, and global campaigns. If you want the real stories behind power moves like this, the kind you won't hear on traditional broadcast panels, make sure you're locked into the latest industry updates. Stay sharp, stay curious, and stay watching. Every angle, every leak, and every backstage twist is being documented. If you found this insight valuable, feel free to like, subscribe, and share the discussion.